Hey champions, this is Arian Tyson out of St. Louis, Missouri, and I'm just coming back at you to shoot a video this morning. It is pretty much a cool Monday here in St. Louis. It is actually the Monday before Christmas, and I am just grateful for the awesome weekend that I had. I had an opportunity to fellowship with some people that I hadn't known and that I haven't seen in a while, and learn some new stuff about some friends that I do have. And then yesterday I actually had an opportunity to bring a message at my church. It was kind of short notice, but it had been a while since I had spoke at my church, and so I just let go and let God use me. And I personally believe that it went over well, and based on the feedback that I received, they got a lot out of it as well. But I wanted to talk to you briefly today about why it is time for you to break through and conquer. And let me preface my comments. The message that I gave yesterday was entitled the same thing. It's time to break through and conquer. And I want to talk about it today from a slightly different perspective. Many times we go through life, and there are times where we come up against obstacles. We come up against people that, disagree with us. We come up against those whose values different from us. And, the reality is, I am someone who grew up thinking that things are supposed to be a certain way, and that everybody should capitulate to that. But the reality is, and there are various reasons, but the worst thing that you can do is force someone to do something. That is not your responsibility. And one of the things that I'm noticing is that people think that they're God, and it's at that moment where they lose sight, and that's where God becomes displeased. Because for me as a Christian, our values stem from leaning and dependent on God. Now, everybody is not going to agree with that. But just because someone doesn't agree with you does not mean that they're casting judgment on you. And let me be clear. I have various friends from all walks of life. I have mentioned on previous videos that my best friend of 16 years is not African American. He's Caucasian. But what I love about my best friend and my brother, as I said, my brother, is that with us, we don't see skin color. We don't see skin color. That doesn't mean we're the same, but in many aspects we are the same, but we're different. For example, he used to smoke. I've never smoked a day in my life. He drinks. I don't drink. That doesn't mean that I'm judging him. That doesn't mean that I'm casting judgment on him because he drinks and I don't. That doesn't mean that he's casting judgment on me because I don't drink. That is a choice that we've made. But nevertheless, it doesn't stop us from being best friends. It doesn't stop us from being brothers. It does not stop us. our differences make us who we are. Everybody that's living and existing are not the same. And you can save yourself a lot of headache, a lot of heartache, a lot of disappointment when you learn how to start looking at people for who they are and not what you think they should be. And so that is something that I learned, that I had to learn, not necessarily the hard way, but looking back on it, I don't mind it, because one thing about me is when I learn something the hard way, it sticks with me. It sticks with me because there's a lesson that comes out of it. You know, so while we're thankful for our blessings and stuff like that, we also need to be thankful for our lessons as well. You know, even though they don't always feel good, but a lesson is a lesson nevertheless, and it is meant to teach us something. You know, and it's not meant to cast aspersions or cast judgment on anything or anybody. And so, regardless to what people say, you have to be who you are. Most people that cast judgment on others, they really don't know who they are. That's something that I'm finding out. And the thing is, you can't be a people pleaser because everybody is not going to agree with you for whatever reason. It could be a lot of factors. It could be the way that they were raised. It could be normally it's their upbringing, you know, and also it's personal preference. I mean, like I said, I have you know, friends that I consider friends, you know, from different backgrounds. You know, most of my friends have children. I don't. You know, most you know, people that I know friends of mine that, you know, had children, you know, before, you know, the age of 21. You know, some had children before the age of 18. So what? That doesn't make, just because I chose not to have children, you know, that at that age, that doesn't mean that I'm judging them. Now, if I just throw it up in their face and I say, well, I'm not the one that chose to do this, and this, then yeah, now I'm casting judgment on them. Because the point is, it's their choice. That's a choice that they made. And we are responsible for the choices that we make. Nobody else should be responsible for a choice that you made. That's called an absence of accountability. You know, you made a decision, you stand on your decision, and you own your decision. And so the best thing that we can do is, even if we disagree, we can always pray for them, and we can always you know, be friends with them. Now, if you're someone who believes that everybody has to, you know, agree with you, you're basically going to be living a very lonely life, because you know, speaking as someone who, you know, was raised by two parents who are very different, you know, but yet they've been married over 30 years, being raised by two sets of grandparents who were both married 50 years each or more. They're very different, and no two people are the same. And the reason that people are drawn and connected to each other is because of their differences. You know, because not only because of their differences, but because of their similarities as well. You know, my best friend and I, yeah, we're different, but we're connected because number one, of a choice that we made. You know, and because there are similarities that we do have. You know, but I'm not going to sit here and say that we agree on everything, but we just choose to not let our disagreements tear us apart. You know, for example, my best friend, you know, and this is his personal choice. He believes in God, but he doesn't go to church. Well, I'm a minister. I actually go to church. Does that mean I'm judging him? No. Does that mean that he's judging me? No. What that means is that we accept that difference, and yet we are still ride or die for each other. I know that when my back is against the wall, I know that he's there. When his back is against the wall, he knows that I'm there. So that has already been proven. That is not up for discussion. So as I wrap this up, understand that your differences make you who you are. You are not a robot. You are not a people pleaser. You are not someone that is in the business of convincing folks. You are here to make a difference in someone's life and to be a blessing to others. So I will talk to you soon. Enjoy this Monday, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.